One of my favorite things about being in the forest or just among the trees is that when a gust of wind comes, it sounds almost like an ocean wave. You hear it from one direction, coming toward you, passing everything in its path, and either dissipating or continuing on its way. And I've been thinking a lot about waves lately, how they're just the perfect metaphor for so many things in life. So today let's talk about waves. My name is Balvo, I'm an artist, and this is Mind Over Matcha, where we share what I like to call everyday epiphanies, which are tiny little ideas that might help you change the way you see the world. So I'm here in the wilderness in Arizona. I've spent the past 5 days adventuring with my oldest brother, Tony, through the highest forests, down to the streams and rivers and lakes. It's been an incredible trip that I'm so grateful for, to share that time with my brother in a way that we've never done before in our entire lives. So much gratitude there. But it's also given me a lot of time to reflect, and I just wanted to riff on this idea of everything coming in waves. And if you've watched my videos before, you might know that I've been absent for about 9 months. To be perfectly honest, I've been having kind of a challenging year and a half. It's caused me to think a lot about how everything kind of comes in waves. Your health, your friendships, how confident you are, how well you think you're doing. Even things outside of yourself, your community, family, like everything just comes in waves. And I actually really appreciate that, and I wanted to share with you why. In summary, I've had this shoulder injury for the last 9 months. It's a rotator cuff tear, which wasn't diagnosed for about 3 months. And it led to something called frozen shoulder, which means I just had really limited mobility in my arm. And at some angles, it produced really, really painful, excruciating pain. But I'm healing from that. So previously I could only raise my arm up about here, but now it's getting up there. So with a lot of time and dedication to just taking time out every day to exercise and stretch and do my physical therapy and go see the doctor, it's on the mend, and I feel great about that. The second thing that's been going on in my life is that I've made a conscious decision to allocate a lot more of my time to spending quality time with a few loved ones, including my mom, just based on our family and other circumstances. It's the right thing to do, and it makes me feel good to do so. So definitely made it a priority. To nurture those relationships is so important for me in this point in my life. And the third life update is I worked on only a couple of projects for my income for several years. I'm a designer, by the way, outside of making art and videos and all that, and music. But these projects, one of them is top secret, and I couldn't share any of the work I did for it. And the other one, it was a skill set that I no longer felt like I wanted to do. And so I felt like, hey, after these two projects kind of ended almost simultaneously, I didn't have much work to show for the last few years. And I really struggled to get paid work for almost a year, until I successfully completed a lot of projects that either I came up on my own with, or I collaborated with close friends on. And that allowed me to build up a portfolio and get more paid work. And I just completed a really big project, a branding project that I can't wait to share with you guys. And now I feel like I have a little time out here in the nature to do this video. So that's my life update. I'm telling you this mainly because, a life update, I wanted to explain my absence. But partially just to say that these creators that you watch on this platform, they have lives and families and various waves of things that come and go in their lives. And so your support in sharing their work with others, your support in helping fund their work through Patreon or other, for me it's a service called Ko-fi. Like, your support means not only technically that, you know, us creators can make this work, but also like mentally. Just to know that there are people out there supporting you, cheering you on, appreciating your work, your effort. Man, some of these shoots I've gone on have been like 5-6 hours long just for like a 20-minute video. You know, I've fallen down ravines and scraped myself up trying to get these shots. Those are great stories. But yeah, it's a lot of work. And so any of your support is like really meaningful. But let's talk about waves. You know, like those things that I just described, health, my shoulder, those come in waves. Sometimes you feel on top of the world. And sometimes you've got something that like really bogs the rest of your life down. And it takes intention and dedication to kind of like recover from the low point of that wave. So the idea is to apply that concept to, you know, everything in your life. Relationships, money, friendships, health, family, the ability to do the things you want to do. It all comes in waves, right? And what I wanted to talk to you about today is that those waves happen simultaneously to each other, all at different points, all the time, right? Sometimes you can be really poor, but you're super rich in friendship, and you're super rich in, I don't know, everything else. And sometimes it's the opposite. But waves are the surface occurrence, the surface phenomenon of a larger body of water. This underneath structure, this foundation. And what I've been thinking about lately is that, man, I'm so privileged and grateful that I get to define what that foundation is for me. And this applies to everyone, right? We have a choice to nurture whatever we think is our foundation of our lives. And so I wanted to share 3 things that I consider the foundation that during, you know, the last year and a half where, you know, I felt it was very challenging, that I put intention and effort and consistency into nurturing so that the surface waves don't completely wreck me. If you have this stable foundation, like everything on the surface is always just going on. It's kind of an uplifting idea, and I wanted to share that. So the first element of my foundation is nurturing my relationships, my close relationships with friends, family, and people who matter and make a difference in my life in a significant way. And that takes so much work, and it's so rewarding. But I really do consider my support structure of friends and family maybe a third of the foundation of my life. So you know, how do I do that? I have to sacrifice time doing other things in order to spend time with and have conversations with and reciprocate the kindness that people show me. like on this trip with my brother. So much kindness, so much gratitude. Generosity for my brother to spend all this time with me, open up to me in a way that we've never been able to open up. It takes a lot, but it's so rewarding. So that's number one. Nurture the relationships that matter. And that's part of your or my infrastructure of my life. Number two is to nurture the relationship with self. And boy, is that challenging. And that takes so much work. What I mean by nurturing the relationship with self is to care about yourself and to do things that show that. Self-respect, boundaries, self-talk, talking to and about yourself in a way that is positive, that is empowering. That's a hard one for me because I'm a big self-critic. Physical health, dedicating the time to stay fit, to sleep decently, to eat nutritious things. That's part of the relationship with self that I found that I really had to nurture. That really takes a lot. And I just don't know how one would exist without dedicating all that effort into the relationship with self. And I forgot a big one. Aside from physical health, like mental health, right? Meditation kind of fell off the ball for a little bit on my meditation practice. And so putting effort into nurturing your relationship with yourself and your body and your mind, just treating yourself well. That's the second pillar, the second element in my foundation in my life. And the third one, I don't know how many of you are going to see this one coming, but consuming with the knowledge that you consume for growth. So food is an analogy. You consume various nutritious things. The more nutritious, the more you grow. And what I'm specifically talking about consuming is, I'm a creator. And I have to consume things that help me grow and help me produce, which means I have to be so mindful about what I'm consuming. And that's challenging sometimes. I get maybe too used to having a podcast on like all the time at every point in the day, or consuming news media that, it's the same kind of disturbing headlines all the time. Just things that aren't helpful, that aren't nutritious mentally. Learning about stuff that I'm never going to use was a big one. Like, I justified it as, hey, I'm learning, right? But it's kind of just escapism at some point. And that's what I realized. And And so, consuming mentally the things that will allow you to be your best self, to produce your best work, that has been the third pillar in my life that I've learned that I need to really put effort and intention into nurturing. So how did I do that? I journaled. I just figured out what I was consuming and whether or not it was contributing to, my overall how I want to be in life, and then I put it into action, which means not having yapping, talking podcasts on all the time, and choosing not to check the news all the time, because after a while you realize it's all the same stuff and it's all sensationalist. Not all. It's the same stuff. It's sensational headlines that catch your attention. It's like really incremental reporting, where if it's one big event and like one tiny change happened, it'll be a big headline about, this thing moved 1 inch. And the idea is to actually come up with what's going to replace those things. What are the healthy things you want to consume or do? And for me, it's like I maybe only consume a third of the content or the education that I did during the period where I felt really off balance. And the other 2/3, I am acting, I am making, I am trying things out, I'm making mistakes. And so, not only are you going to sit down and list the unhealthy things that you consume, but you kind of have to choose what's going to take its place. For me, it's just trying new things out first person. You can really just sit there and learn stuff all day, but trying the thing out in first person yourself, I've just found that that's the key for me. And that's what I wanted to share today. So, okay, to summarize this video real quick, everything comes in waves, right? And all these waves are happening at different variations, different times, all the time in your life. But waves exist within a larger body of water, don't they? And I've just found that you get to choose what that body of water is, what is the underlying mass of your life, so that everything else is just impermanence. And for me, it's my relationship with my support structure in my life, my family, my close friends. Number 2, my relationship with myself, doing healthy things for myself, treating myself with respect, nurturing my body. And number 3 is I'm a caterpillar. Whatever I eat, I will become that. So that just makes me really intentional about all that. So that's my everyday epiphany. That little idea of choosing what means the most to you and pouring effort into it. So that's where I'll leave it. I'm so glad to be making videos again. I really hope you get something out of this. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.